Hi, this is Mr. West, and today we're doing a walkthrough video for add and subtract negative numbers sheet 2 from Math-Salamanders.com. Make sure to check out Math-Salamanders. They have tons of great worksheets and math help and other math resources. Definitely give them a look. So for this exercise, for this worksheet, we're going to be adding and subtracting negative numbers. A couple things we need to know, okay? So the first thing is the best way to begin learning about adding and subtracting negative numbers is to use a number line. So here we have a number line. You can see it's got this color-coded for evens and odds. But the important thing is we have 0, okay? And then to the right we have the positives. Okay, I'm actually just going to do plus for that. And then to the left of that we have the negatives. So that's kind of like the premise of the number line. We have positive to the right, negative to the left. Now the other thing we got to know is when you're using the number line, you want to start on the first number they list, and then you're going to move in the direction of the second number, okay? So that's kind of like the guiding principle of that. So with that understanding, for example, number 1, we are going to, let me change colors, we're going to start on -1, that would be our start, and then we're going to move 7. Now, it's 7 in the positive direction, so that means we go to the right. I like to do these little bubbles like 1, 2, like this, and then we have 3, 4, and I need 7. 5, 6, 7. So I arrive at 6. So when I move to the right in the positive direction 7 units, I arrived on the number 6. Okay, so that's where I landed. 6 is my answer for number 1. Now, some of these, like number 2, okay, we're going to move in the opposite direction. So we're actually going to start on -1 again. Okay, that's our starting. But for number 2, we're actually going to move in the negative direction. So let me go ahead and get that going. We're going to move in the negative direction 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice how I get to -8 this time, okay? And the reason why I move in the negative direction is because it has a minus sign in front. So minus sign, move to the left, plus sign, move to the right. And again, that was 7, so I moved in the negative direction. All right, next up, I actually want to talk about number 4. So I'm going to skip around a little bit, but number 4 I want to talk about because it has 2 minuses together. So let me go ahead and highlight for you. Notice how there's a minus minus. So 6 minus -3. What does that mean? Well, we can still start on 6. So let me erase this. We can still start on the number 6, just like we did before. Okay, we started with the first number. But now, what does it mean minus minus? Okay, well, think about this. When we're subtracting, or when we have a negative sign, really means the opposite. So here we have 3. What's the opposite of 3? -3, okay? So if you're up here, here's 3, here's -3. They're exactly the same distance from 0. They're opposites from each other, okay? So that's really what a minus sign means, is the opposite. So if we put a minus sign in front of 3, it becomes the opposite, okay? -3. What if we put a minus sign in front of -3? It becomes the opposite of -3. Well, what's the opposite of -3? Positive 3 is the opposite. So this actually equals 3. So 3, what do we do with that? Well, we could change that to positive 3 looking like this. This problem essentially becomes 6 plus 3, which takes me to the last kind of teaching point here. The first step, we are going to change, okay, if necessary. That means change the sign. You don't want 2 minus signs next to each other. You're going to want to change all those to plus signs. And then step 2, we're just going to combine. So combining is a much better way to think of it, other than, oh, I got to remember my rules for subtraction. Oh, I got to remember my rules for addition. That's not the best way to go, in my opinion. Just think about combining. Is it positive or is it negative? And move in that direction. Now that we have 6 plus 3, we know that we could start on 6. Let me rewrite this. Give me a moment. So we have 6 plus 3 instead. We're going to start on 6. We're going to move 1, 2, 3 in the positive 3 direction, and we land on 9. 9 is going to be our answer for that. So for all these, anytime you have this minus minus, just like this, I would make sure to write -4 plus 5 to start. 3 plus 3 to start. Okay, so before you do anything, that's what I would do, and these problems become much more simple. So number line is one great way to do it. Another way to think about it is teams. I'm going to talk about 2 more ways. Okay, so for example, -4 plus 5. We have a positive team and a negative team. The positive team has 5, a strength of 5, and the negative team has a strength of 4. Okay, so who's going to win? Well, the positive team is going to win. Okay, but they're only going to win by 1 point. So it's +1. Okay, that's my answer. -4 plus 5 plus 1. And that's how I would do that. This works perfectly for this scenario. Whoops. Negative team is -3. Then we have a positive team of +3. They have even strength, so they balance out. It's a tie game, 0 points. Here we have an example where both the 3 and the 3 are both on the positive team. So they combine their points and they end up with 6. So that's how it works. And then same thing for if you have, whoops, I meant to get the highlighter. If we have -2, -3, they're both on the negative team. So that'd combine their strength, -5, okay? So that works with all these. You can easily tell this way that a positive is going to win, so it's going to be +1, but we're not going to combine because they're not on the same team. The last way I want to encourage you to think about it is using money. So if we have 2 friends, okay, and let's just take number 11 as a great example. So let's say this friend on the left owes you $7, but then you owe another friend, this friend right here, $5. What's the total transaction? Well, he gives you 7, you owe him 5. You're going to be left with $2, okay? So that's going to go to you, and that's going to be our answer for number 11. Now let's go to another one. We have number 12. This is another good example. What's the transaction that takes place? We owe this friend $3. We owe this friend $6. Well, we don't get any money, and in total, we're going to owe -$9. Okay, so we owe $9 in total. And that works for all of these. I'll do one more just so you get the idea. This is how I like to think of these problems. Actually, I like the team way, but this way is also good. Okay, so then we have, I meant to put the minus in front. We owe this friend on the right $8. The friend on the left is only giving us 4. We're still going to be in debt $4. Okay, so -4 is the total transaction taking place. And that's how we do all of these. So I'll do a couple more for you. This one would be -8. This one would be -9. We're going to make this into a plus, and that becomes +1. -1, make this into plus, that is +10. There's just a few I haven't done. Leave a comment if you need those done. Down here, we have a couple other kind of cool exercises to use. For all this, we're going to use these numbers, use 2 numbers from the list below to answer each of the following questions. So for example, number 1, I need to get to -2. The strategy here is that if it's plus, that means the bigger number has to be negative. So we have a -5 here, and then +3, that would result in -2. So that's number 1. That's one option. It's not necessarily the only option, but it's one option. Now, if I want to get to a positive number I'm subtracting, I either need like 5 minus 4, which I don't think I have, and the only 2 positive numbers are 7 and 3, so I can't just do that. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to subtract a negative, for example, -5, and that becomes +5. So those ones are tricky. All the minus ones are a little bit tough. So now I need to think, okay, what number do I add 5 to, and it becomes a +1? Well, that's going to be -4. So those are the tough ones. -4 minus the -5. That equals +1. So that's that section. Again, leave a comment if you need more help, but you're just looking for certain combinations. And then it says, find 4 different ways to make this work. It's all -1. Okay, so I could do, right here for the subtraction part, just flip it. We got +1 by having -4 minus -5. We're going to do the opposite. -5 minus a -4. And the reason why that works is -5 plus 4. That equals -1. Okay, so that's one way, and there's more than one of those. And you're going to be looking for numbers that are close to each other. So, for example, 7 and -8, that's going to be another one. 7 plus a -8, that would equal -1. There's even more, okay? So there's obviously 2 more. And then choose 3 numbers from the list to make this correct. Ooh, this one looks a little tougher. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to try -2 here at the end. I'm going to try to get to, let's see, that would make it, if I got to -12. So I think I can do -8 plus -4 minus the -2, and that should do it. There's another option too, okay? There are 3 ways to do it. How many can you find? So I found 1. You guys can find more. So this is a great worksheet that talks about adding and subtracting negative numbers. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, check out Math-Salamanders.com or my Math-Salamanders playlist, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Wes Explains Best.